So it's been about a year since I had my gallbladder removed. Well, it's been well over a year. I had my cholecystectomy performed in January of 2024. It is now August of 2025, so it's definitely been over that year mark. But I want to provide you all with an update on just how I feel and just give you a brief explanation of how my life has been since having my cholecystectomy performed and just give you an idea of what you could possibly expect. Now, I know we're all different. Our bodies are entirely different. So this is obviously just my experience. You might have a completely different one, but I really ultimately hope that this video helps put you at ease before you go into having your procedure done. So without further ado, stay tuned. Let's get into it. So despite the nervousness and, I guess I wasn't really seeing a whole lot of info online about having the cholecystectomy done, I just decided to get it done because I wanted to finally feel good. I had trusted these physicians that I was working with, and I felt like they would lead me down the right path. So I had my cholecystectomy performed in January. It was like later January, so it was a little bit cooler out. And, it was a pretty nerve-wracking day, honestly. So I had the operation performed. My recovery was quite the adventure because my body can't quite handle pain medication. I can't even smoke marijuana. I don't do any recreational drugs just because things hit me a lot harder than your average human. So I just unfortunately had to suck it up and rely on like ibuprofen to get through it, right? And this is after having obviously a major operation performed. Not the most exciting time, but I got through. I made it through. Eating was quite the challenge because obviously you're not allowed to have like hard foods like nuts and harder fruits. You're not allowed to have any fast food at all. You're not allowed to have any alcohol. You're just really supposed to eat like a super minimalist diet of like bread, some dairy. Like you're really just supposed to eat some super light foods. I would just eat a ton of bread and a ton of Jello, and I definitely wasn't out there like eating cheeseburgers and eating steaks and eating a ton of red meat. In fact, the very first meat that I decided to experiment with was just like deli meat, like turkey and, some chicken. So a lot of it was just trial and error. And this sort of began this journey towards, living my life with now not having a gallbladder inside of me. So, after about a month or so, I would say I was decently recovered. I was able to work out again, and not like lifting weights, but I was able to start running again or, doing light jogs, swimming, stuff like that. I wasn't doing any heavy lifting. That came a little bit later. And that's when I started to introduce newer foods into my system. And, I did start to eat steak again. I did start to eat chicken and turkey. And, I started to eat, those rich whole foods like fruits, tons and tons of water. Wasn't delving back into the alcohol at all. I was still a little bit nervous about that. And I would say that my body was responding just the way that I wanted it to. Probably the craziest part that they don't tell you about getting your gallbladder removed is your digestion will change, and it will change pretty bad. And so I'm telling you, like, I would literally eat, I would even eat like a slice of bread. And I'm telling you, 10 to 15 minutes later, I was just in the bathroom. And so once I started to introduce newer foods back in the bathroom, in the bathroom, in the bathroom, in the bathroom, because my body was just rejecting it, right? Because it didn't have this organ, that was regulating my digestive system. And so once that was removed from the equation, I just was in the bathroom a lot. So I really had to like change around my days because at this point I was, back in the office. I was back working, and I needed to make sure, especially like if I'm driving home, like I couldn't eat and be in the car unless I knew I wanted to have to stop at like a Publix or a gas station and use the bathroom, because that's just like how rapid and quick my digestion process was taking. It was so quick. It didn't matter what I was eating. So yeah, life went on, things went great. And then that's when I started to reintroduce like wine, and I started to reintroduce whiskey and tequila. And I noticed that my body was responding well. There was no sharp pains. There was no sickness at all. And I just felt good. And then that's when I started to experiment with the foods that I had loved previously. Cheeseburgers, ribs, those more like fattier red meats. Yeah, things really went smoothly. I was honestly pretty blessed. And I would say the number one thing that I noticed is I just would not get bloated anymore. I wouldn't get sick. I wouldn't, regurgitate my food. I just felt whole. And that's how I knew that removing this one organ, having my cholecystectomy done, it was the difference maker for me personally. You know, all these operations that I had gone through, all these medications that I had been on, you know, my miracle was having my gallbladder removed, and it just made such a big difference. So once like month 4, month 5 rolled around, that's when I started to notice that my digestion started to go back to normal. I wouldn't have to, you know, basically set up my work computer in the bathroom. Like, my digestion was normal, right? My stool was not soft and watery. It had just gotten back to normal. And so that's when I realized that, man, I am like getting my life back. My body is back to normal as it could be, because I'm out here running, you know, 100 miles a month, and that's a little controversial, but I just felt good. Like, my digestive issues were gone. So look, the fact that you're here, you're either a person that is having some digestive issues and your doctor has considered bringing up, you know, removing your gallbladder, or you're a person who has a surgery scheduled for, you know, a couple days out, a few weeks out, and you're wondering, is this worth it? As somebody that has had a cholecystectomy performed, this is the greatest thing I've ever experienced in my life, because I have my life back now. I'm able to focus on life's real problems, right? Like, I'm able to eat, I'm able to drink, I'm able to just live and have fun. And that's what we all deserve as humans. So, you know, this isn't like a sales ad or something like that. Like, I'm not supported, or, you know, I don't receive anything for these videos to preach. I'm just a guy at the end of the day that truly believes that quality of life matters. And I want you all to feel good at the end of the day. And, you know, this surgery is like a true testament to like man, and, you know, how far we've come, especially in medicine and in healthcare. You know, I know there's a lot of controversy surrounding healthcare right now, but as far as this procedure and operation goes, I highly recommend getting it done. You will be just fine, I promise. So with that being said, I really do hope that this video helped put you at ease. As I mentioned earlier, if you're here, chances are you're about to have this procedure done. You're considering having the procedure done, or you've already had the procedure done and you're already in the healing stages. So, and if you are that person, like, please reach out to me in the comment section. If you're experiencing anything at all, any pains, let's talk about it, because I want this place to be a dialogue for people that have had a cholecystectomy done and are considering having it done. You're like the most important person to chime in on this. So the most important question, would I have a cholecystectomy performed again? Would I have my gallbladder removed again if I could do it all over again? Yes, 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 yes. The answer is 100% yes. You know, like I said, I'm no stranger to surgeries, unfortunately, but this was by far like one of the easier ones. The recovery was super smooth. Sure, there was a little bit of a learning curve because I had to do a lot of the research myself. There was a lot of trial and error, but ultimately I feel great. I feel like a completely different person. I got my life back. So if you did find any value out of this video, please let me know down in the comment section below. Let's keep it productive. You know, you're here for a reason, and I want you to feel good. So I love you guys. I hope you guys are well. If you're in recovery right now, I wish you a speedy recovery. Golden, Daddy loves you. Thank you. Mahalo for watching. Pew, pew.